Okay, this section of material is going to be just absolutely jam-packed with lots of review. So we're going to take each topic one at a time, and here we go. The first thing we're going to review is our exponential notation. So if you'll remember from things that you've done in the past, exponential notation is just another word for something that has an exponent, basically. So here we have an example that says 3 raised to the 4th power. This is exponential notation. Now, just to refresh your memory about your vocabulary, this 4 is called an exponent, or a lot of times we'll call it a power. So either word is just fine, but because this is exponential notation, exponent is a much more proper word. This 3 here has a very special name also. That's called the base. And it is important that you know this vocabulary, because as you move up in mathematics, you're going to be doing more and more with exponential things, and then you're going to have to really know what's the base, because we'll do some very creative things with it. Okay, just again as a refresher, when we see this 3 to the 4th, the base is what's telling you what you're multiplying. The exponent tells you how many times to multiply it. So 3 to the 4th literally means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. The power tells you how many times to multiply the base to itself. Very important. It's very important that you understand that definition, because we'll use that over and over again. Let's try doing some practice here. Here we have a problem that says 4 raised to the 2nd power. Now, you could read this as 4 squared. That's another way of reading it. We have special names for the 2nd power, which would be squared. If we happen to see something like this, raised to the 3rd power, that has a special name of cubed. So we would read that as 4 cubed. Everything else is just raised to the power. So let's go back to our problem here that said 4 squared. This means we're going to multiply the base, which is 4, to itself, and the power tells us how many times. So 4 squared literally is 4 times 4, which is 16. Here in our next one, we have 2 raised to the 4th power. Remember, a 4th power doesn't have a special name like squared and cubed does. But again, let's go back to what this means. We're going to multiply the base, which is 2, to itself this many times. The power tells us how many times. So literally, this is the same thing as saying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. The base multiplied to itself 4 times. And then if we multiply these all together, 2 times 2 would be 4, times 2 would be 8, times 2 would be 16. So that is 16 also. Now this just happened to work out that 4 squared and 2 to the 4th were the same thing. Sometimes that doesn't always work, so we don't want to get into that habit. Let's look at this next one. This next one says 3/4 cubed. So again, the base here in this case happens to be a fraction of 3/4. So that's what we're going to be multiplying to itself. We're going to multiply 3/4 to itself, and this tells us how many times. So 3 times. And now remember, we just reviewed multiplying fractions. 3 times 3 times 3, because we multiply all across the top, would be 27. And then we multiply across the denominator, 4 times 4 times 4, which would be 64. So our answer here would be 27 over 64.